It's a situation that touches every school corridor, every playground, and every social media feed. Bullying is something most people experience in one way or another, and a new organization is on a mission to create safer communities by reducing bullying incidents and supporting those who've been affected. Allies Against Bullying launched in Vincennes this year, and today we're joined by the group's founders, Tina and Fred Bangerter, who talk about how it all began and what the organization's doing to make a difference, and we thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Dave.
So tell us what prompted the founding of Allies Against Bullying and what was the vision when you got started?
Well, my granddaughter's experience with bullying and her attempted suicides and my beliefs is what prompted it. I believe God laid this on my heart to help kids who are being bullied, and my vision is to help those who suffer at the hands of bullying so they don't have to suffer anymore.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about what your granddaughter went through?
She was, most of hers was cyberbullying, and she was constantly getting negative comments from other people telling her, you know, you should do this, you should do that, and just not. She was not doing very well. She's not going to school there anymore.
Yeah. So how long ago was this? Was this fairly recent?
This was last year.
Okay. Okay. So you talked about cyberbullying. So how do you define bullying, I guess, in 2025?
Any form of harassment, in our opinion, that's negative and causes people pain is what we consider bullying. And because we've seen it in our own family, it holds a special place for us. So we've decided enough was not being done to help individuals who are being bullied.
So one of your goals is to prevent it, and what are some of the challenges that you face when you want to prevent something like that from happening?
Victims not speaking up is one. The other is there are no willing parties to address the problem. They seem to be a hush-hush topic, and no one wants to admit that bullying happens. No one wants to admit they're being bullied, and that makes it challenges for us. So our premise is to overcome this by talking with the students, the parents, and the schools, and see if we can't reach resolutions.
So when you come across, why do people not want to admit that they've been bullied?
They're shamed. They feel like no one will believe them, and they don't think they can get help anywhere.
Now I was taught, and I'm sure you guys were too, given our ages, that you stand up to a bully, they back down, or you fight back, they back down. And I think over the years we've kind of learned that's not quite always true.
Right.
So can you guys kind of speak to that a little bit?
Well, it's really sad, but nowadays cyberbullying is really prevalent, and it's hard to stand up to somebody when it's just words on a screen and it's going out to hundreds of people, or thousands of people. It's kind of hard to stand up to someone without making yourself look even worse. So most people tend to shy away from that, and they'll just scroll past. But the problem is still there because it gets into the psyche of the individual who is the target. And that plays a very heavy role in their emotional growth, their emotional development, and whether they can cope with a bully when they're face to face.
And that target, if they stand up, they could be called a bully too, can't they?
Yes, that's exactly right. As a matter of fact, that happens quite frequently. Someone is bullied, they retaliate, and they're the ones that get punished from the authorities, the schools, parents, whomever, because they were the one that was seen bullying, whereas the first incident may not have been noticed.
So in the act of being bullied, whether in person or online, how should the target react at first, do you think?
Online, primarily, scroll right on past it. It's not that important. But kids nowadays, they need the clicks, they need the recognition, they need the being brought out as, how do I put it, famous.
Okay.
They want recognition, they want notoriety. So it's kind of hard to just scroll past, but that's really the suggestion we make to especially teens, just keep scrolling. There's going to be a good message in there somewhere. Look for it. You know, don't look for the bad message. I was bullied as a kid, bad, because I have a big mouth. I don't shut up. And I was blessed with a high intelligence, so I was very quick with the comeback. And it angered people. So I got bullied a lot, and I was physically bullied by the kids in school. And this is back in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
So it was going on. It's been going on for a long time. The problem is that nobody wants to talk about it. And all the canned messages of stop bullying, it's not going to happen. You're not going to stop bullying, but we can help those that have suffered at the hands of bullies. That's what our goal is.
And you talked about your granddaughter and attempted suicide, and on your website you've got a lot of names and faces of people who died by suicide. So how important is it for people to see that reality and what message do you hope that sends?
It's imperative that people realize how bad bullying is, because it can and it will affect their own children if they're not paying attention. I personally hope people wake up and realize this is what's going on. And we've already lost a couple of kids in our own community, and I don't want to see any more lost. Those kids on that poster, there are 34 kids that should still be alive today.
How do you recognize in your own kid or in any child or teenager if they're being bullied if they don't talk about it?
It's real simple. If there's a sudden behavioral change in your child, in your grandchild, in your niece or nephew, anybody that you recognize on a regular basis, if there's a sudden change in their behavior, either they become reclusive, very antisocial, or they can become violent, belligerent, even nasty. These radical changes in behaviors is a telltale sign that there is something going on, and your first objective should be to calm the child down, sit down and talk with the child, and build a rapport that you might not have because you're busy in your job, you're busy taking care of your family and doing what you have to do, that sometimes these children are not so much that they're ignored, is they're an afterthought because there's so many important things that are going on. Well, your child's behaviors and the changes in their behaviors is a telltale sign, it's a red flag. Stop and do something about it. It's imperative because your child could wind up with severe traumatic issues, PTSD and other psychoses that develop. You want to prevent that. You want to prevent future hurt for your child. You're going to need to step up and sit down with that child and have a talk with them. Don't be adversarial. Be friendly. Be their friend for a few moments. Be caring. Be loving. But understand what they're going through. And they will give you names of people who are bothering them. They will give you the names of, even if there's a teacher, I mean, there are teachers that bully. I mean, it's not just children. There are people being bullied who are in relationships. There are husband and wife situations where the husband or the wife may bully the other to get their way. This is prolific throughout society, so it's not just children, but the children are what tugged at our heartstrings.
So tell me about your organization, what it's doing to respond to these problems and how you're working with the community.
Well, what we're trying to do is partner with several organizations in the area. There's one, Tina, why don't you go ahead and tell them about?
We're hoping to partner with a family health center pretty soon, and other organizations that have programs that we would like to implement with our programs that's going to help us to help other people. So we want to be able to guide victims to the right perspective to get the help that they need, the right services.
I know you had your launch earlier this year, so what's next for Allies Against Bullying?
We are going to do the parade. The Christmas parade's coming up in December 5th.
So you'll be in that, and so we'll look for you in that here in town. So
Yeah, we're looking to have a nice float and some community involvement with the float. Looking to hand out candy canes to the kiddos, and we're going to be handing out the QR code on a slip of paper so that people can have it. And if they need to get in touch with us, they can do so on the website. We have the email. We have an email address. It's info@alliesagainstbullying.org. And there we will be able to receive messages, comments, questions, so forth, and answer them.
all right. Well, we thank you both for being here with us, Tina and Fred Bangerter from Allies Against Bullying, and we'll certainly look for you in the Christmas parade and keep track of what you're doing throughout the next year. So
Thank you.
thank
Excellent. Thank you.
So if you or someone you know is being affected by bullying, don't hesitate to reach out for help. Allies Against Bullying offers information, support, and resources for students, families, and schools, and you can find a link to their website and more details on how to get involved on vincennes.pbs.org.